Okay, everyone, thanks very much for clicking into this short interview with Fintan Brady from Partisan Productions. They're funded by Community Relations Council, and the groups that we have funded and that we support have been working really hard during the coronavirus crisis to connect communities, demonstrating in many cases good resilience and quickly moving to online technology or more traditional ways of working with and engaging with local people on good relations issues. So Fintan is here. Fintan has been working hard to keep communities connected. Fintan, just give us a quick insight into what you've been doing at Partisan during the crisis to keep communities connected.
All right, thanks for the opportunity. We're a theatre company. So obviously with theatre and film, so obviously there was issues initially with how we do any of the work that we do at all, because it's based on sort of close-up research with folks, developing material close up with people, and then presenting it to audiences close up. So that was an issue to start with. I think where we started from then was after the kind of initial sort of brief panic, was to consider where exactly we were at. We had work in place. We had a program of work. So obviously you're not starting from scratch. You're considering how you can deliver the program you said you would deliver under particular conditions. It was important, I think, to be honest and say, how much of this can we really do? And then from that, you take another step and you say, why do we do what we do anyway? So you get to the point where you start saying to yourself, some of this is not going to be deliverable. We're going to have to recognize that it will have to be put off. It doesn't mean that it can't happen. If we can work on it in any shape or form to bring it, into some kind of structure or shape, we do that.
Sure.
And if it, and we basically we're essentially looking at timetables. We're going to deliver the work, but we may not be delivering it when we said we deliver it. That was the first thing. So then what we did was to think about, with what we have, and just to flick back a bit, one of the issues for us was, even though we had a program of work in place and we had funding in place for chunks of that, and we had a structure for the delivery of that, both within our own connection with the Community Relations Council, but also working with the communities in transition and with other sort of government type streams. Discussions took place. Obviously, a lot of Zoom discussions took place, and people were, saying about how they were moving things online and doing various other bits and pieces. Our real problem, in a way, was that just at the point where we went into lockdown, we'd made some really new, very interesting connections. Basically, because of the work we've been doing with the paramilitary task force, essentially, and through the justice system. So we'd a set of new connections there that were really going to sort of expand what we were doing and give us new things to think about. They essentially couldn't be developed. So all we could do there was really kind of send a few emails, make a few phone calls, and assure people that the conversations that we started weren't lost and that we would continue those when the time was appropriate, when we could get together, basically. So as I say, the next thing was looking at was kind of consolidating what we did around the idea of why we do it. So for us, the work would really be about finding ways to allow people to examine their experience, to talk about their experience, to find ways to structure their experience, to turn that into something which they're then happy to share with other people in a forum, which allows that experience then to be critiqued, so that you can then think about how you can make change, where your limit is. And for us, it's very important that happens, as a community within a group. So thinking about how you understand the situation you're in, and how you communicate that, and how you share that, and then how you get some feedback and how you make change, that was where we started from, sort of for the next stage of things. We've been developing some work in quite a lot of work in East Belfast, and what we felt was important was to kind of maintain a momentum to keep contact going, but to keep it going in a creative sense, not just sort of saying we're still here. So we're currently, we started this a wee while ago, but we're currently working on a project. It's loosely called Lockdown Stories, but that's just a working title because it's a bit of a cliche. So it's essentially a series of short. They're called animatics. They're they're not fully worked out animations, but they're very, very short, very finely tuned animations, little films that we're going to be we're constructing over the next period. They're based on, I kind of describe them as visual haiku. When we talk to people, you can get really lost in this period as a period of kind of panic, or a period of a problem, something that has to be coped with, dealt with, avoided, whatever it is. What I'm really interested in is how people are actually just experiencing it, how they're experiencing the changes, just without any big narrative, without any big sort of nothing to prove, just to, the home haircut. These are little moments that we won't maybe see again, but they talk of a bigger story. They talk about family. They talk about and again, bigger pictures about community resilience and so forth. So we're working with the communities that we've already been working with. This is a new departure, if you like, but we're essentially doing the same thing, which is telling stories, structuring stories, sharing stories, and we're also working with new partners in this. So we're working with professional games designers to do all the hard digital work on this. Yeah. And then we and illustrators and so forth. And the plan is by the end of July we should have those up and running and out and being shared across all social media platforms. And what I'm really interested in is the feedback. Sure. I want to know whether this way of telling stories works for folks. These are not big things. They're not meant to be huge shows. These are just moments that we're sharing with each other. And is this a nice way to kind of build community? Yeah. So that we see that even though we are kind of maybe all in it together in a way, we're all different in it. But we're all interested. Sure. All our stories are valuable. So that's kind of where we're looking at there.
And Fintan, how are you collecting those stories in? Is that using online tech like Zoom, or is it just simply on the phone? Or
to be honest with you, we've been doing it in a Zoom won't work for this. Yeah. There's a certain psychology in terms of when I'm talking to people, when we're accumulating material or doing the research. Yeah. It's not so much what folks say to you necessarily. It's kind of what they won't say to you, or where they're, or how they communicate what they're allowing you to know, even though they don't tell you. There's a slight psychology involved in it, so it needs to be kind of face to face. So what we're doing is doing that in a socially distanced way. Right. Meeting people in big rooms, one-on-one, or maybe one-on-two, but socially distanced. And we're doing it as with all the hand sanitizers, and also with the tracking business. So we know who's there, and we can contribute to any tracking issue that may come up. And that also is a way for us to think about then how we go forward to stage a piece, which we're still planning to do in August, which is a theatre piece outside. Hopefully the weather will be reasonable for us. We're going to do something outside, and we're looking at the logistics of that in terms of things like tracking, things like stewarding, things like numbers, all of those kind of things. But that project was kind of initiated well over a year and a half ago. So it's really just a question of us figuring out how we make that work, because we understand why we want it to work. Yeah. How we make that work in a set of circumstances. We're kind of reacting to the circumstances, but it's really just about being as focused on what you're trying to achieve and what the point of it is, and then being as flexible as possible in the methodology, and also reading the situation, because every day there's a new bit of information about kind of who goes where, how they go there, how many can go, whatever. So, well, look,
it's certainly interesting times for the work that you're doing, and quite clearly you've been able to kind of find a way to make your work and try and be thoughtful and innovative and creative around that. And I, for one, am definitely looking forward to seeing that work come through. So Fintan, is there one thing maybe from the experience that you've had so far that you think from your learning might be useful to share with other groups? Something that's worked particularly well, or even something that hasn't?
I think for us, I mean, in a way, it's more philosophical than practical in a sense, because each, and I've watched a couple of the other interviews, each group has its own, they have developed their own way of working, they have developed their own sort of agendas. They're all doing great work, and they all know or should know exactly why they're doing that work. So for me, the thing that was really important was to be really clear that we're not just doing stuff, we're doing stuff for a reason.
For a reason.
And we always come back to the reason why we do this, and then we can always figure out. I mean, folks are creative, they're intelligent, we can always figure out a way to do this, given and not sort of fantasizing about the fact that you're going to be able to get, in our case, usually quite volatile individuals. Possibly in some cases, you're not going to get them on a Zoom. So how do we do it our way? Since we want them involved, and then we set a target for maintaining engagement, keeping people engaged, and doing things in a way that maybe is less finished than it might have been previously. But that's great in a way as well as learning, because then for us it's important for folks to feel that nothing that we make together is ever finished, done and dusted. It's always provisional. It always raises the possibility of something else occurring. And it should always raise questions about how we do things, why we do things, and who does them, where we do them. That's where it gets exciting, because you're asking questions all the time. You're not just trying to give answers to things. So for me, that would be the important thing. Would be kind of really just staying flexible, keep focused on the purpose of what you're doing, not on the practice, if you know what I mean, but on the purpose. And
the practice almost comes with the purpose. Then you find a way. Yeah.
It always has to be examined. Is this, because sometimes you can get into a rut, and this is why it's been interesting in a way and positive. Yeah. You can get into a rut of saying, all right, well, we'll do it this way because we did it last year like this and it worked all right. But this is not the same this year, and that challenges you to think about, well, we're going to do this because we need to do this. We want this to happen, but we can't do it that way. So how do we do it? And then you get into conversations. And this is part of the other way that we've tried to keep people engaged with what we're doing, is just about that. It's in how do we do this? How this is what we want to have happen. We're agreed on that. How can we make it work? So
brilliant. Well, look, that's really good. That's really inspirational, reminding us all to focus on our purpose. And if we're determined to achieve our purpose, we'll find a way to make that purpose.
There's always ways to do it, and also to be honest and say, this is the thing that for us, there's a couple of pieces of work that we know we're not going to get done. It's just not going to happen. We'll just reschedule it. We'll do it when we can.
Yeah, good job. Well, look, Fintan, thanks very much for sharing your insights with us. Good luck with all of that, and stay safe. And anybody that's watching this can keep up with your work on social media as well.
Yeah,
so I love
sharing my insights.
so we'll look forward to seeing the outcomes of the work that you've been involved in during the coronavirus crisis.
Yep.
Thanks again for your time and for taking part.